Good evening, Goffstown, and actually good evening, Salem, New Hampshire, and welcome to Goffstown High School, the Grizzly Den, the home of the Lady Grizzlies. And I'm Bob Bartolucci here with my esteemed colleague, Mr. Rob Foreman, and we're here for exciting playoff girls action with the Goffstown Grizzlies versus the Salem Blue Devils, right?
Yeah, Blue Devils, yeah.
Blue Devils, yep.
Hi, Bob.
How are you, Rob?
On a snowy night.
It's a snowy, lousy weathered night, so anybody who's sitting at home watching this is probably smarter than we are, but it's actually exciting to be here.
Yeah.
And just to get our Grizzly fans up to date, first thing we'll announce is that we're also going live in Salem, New Hampshire.
We are.
So we're hopefully the broadcast is welcome out to Salem, and we might be a little bit on the homer side, but Salem's a very good team. But in talking about the Grizzlies, we had a game last Friday night, the last game of the season. And really, we both talked about we don't want any of the habits from that game to come to this game. We were out in the Alverin, and we didn't really play that well. We won.
Yeah. We had a good third quarter, but it was very sloppy. We didn't shoot well from the field. We didn't shoot well from the foul line. All the little things that we've talked about championship teams doing just didn't fall in place. Again, we were the better team. We finished on top, but hopefully tonight we come out with a little more fire.
Yeah. Hopefully we got to play a little more like we did last week against Pinkerton.
Absolutely.
We pulled out a victory there. Goffstown Grizzly girls finished with the 4th seed. 15-3.
15-3, yeah.
So a very good record. And tonight, Salem will be a test. We've already played this team once here at the Grizzly Den back in December. We did win that night, but it was a good test. So tell me a little bit about the Blue Devils.
Yeah, I think what we know is we saw them back December 22nd. We beat them pretty handedly in the end, but they were a team that held their own in the first half. They played some zone defense on us, which we struggled with early on. But once we got clicking, we got it together. The interesting thing is they got a player in their starting lineup tonight, Lindsay Getz, who was not on the floor the night we played December 22nd. She's now their leading scorer. She's averaging just about 10 points a game. So that's a matchup we haven't seen. I'm sure we've seen her on video, film, but we have not seen her in person. So that's a new wrinkle for us. We'll see what they can do. You also know when you played an opponent one time, you can't do exactly what you did last time because they're going to prepare and get a game plan to beat you.
Well, right, and this is not only is their coach by far the best dressed coach in all of high school basketball or collegiate for that matter, but he's a very good coach. So I mean, I'm sure he'll have the Blue Devils ready for this game. What are we looking for from the Grizzlies tonight to really kind of nail this game down?
Yeah, well, I think, you play the regular season to be in the position you're in right now. You're one of the 4 best teams in the state. You have home court advantage on opening night. You want to come out with that fire. You want to hit the rebounds. I understand the last couple of practices they spent a lot of time on rebounding again. Take care of the boards. You want to push the ball, be aggressive offensively, and take what they give you. And a lot of time it's going to be Ava Winterburn from about 10 feet. It's going to be Ava Vaughn from the corner. It's going to be Ava Ruggiero driving and dishing, Maggie driving and dishing. If those 4 get theirs tonight, I think the Grizzlies will be in good shape.
Right, and that's the thing that didn't happen in Alverin, but it did happen against Pinkerton, was more balanced scoring.
It was, yeah.
If we get balanced scoring, whether it's tonight or even moving on into the playoffs, the Grizzly team is going to be a hard team to beat.
Absolutely. And, the other thing worth noting is on a game like this, it's opening round of the playoffs, everybody's going to be a little tight, a little nervous, and that's okay. What coach is going to tell them pregame is fight through that. The first couple trips down the floor, your shot might be a little off, your legs are a little more tired than normal, but fight through it. They're going to be just as nervous as we are. They got nothing to lose. They're the 13 seed. They're ready to knock off the big dog tonight.
Right, and, well, they're going to have an opportunity to try to prove it. And all season long, really, this team, the Grizzly team, has been basically the offense has been taken by Ava Winterburn. She's obviously the leading scorer in the state for girls basketball. Had a big accomplishment earlier this season, just a few weeks ago, hitting 1,000 points. So obviously she's going to be the one the Blue Devils are going to key on for them. And so that's why it's going to be important to spread that scoring.
And I would bet you're exactly right, is that the coach knows that everything's going to go through Winterburn on the first few trips down the floor. So if they do double team or what we saw Alburn do, triple team her, how quickly can she get rid of the ball, and when can somebody else step up like a Maggie Sasso and drive to the basket? That's a great point. I think that most teams are going to say, look, if we can cut her down and maybe she only gets 15 points, we got a chance tonight. If she gets her average 26, I think it's game over.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. Another one to watch here on the Grizzlies, of course, is our spark plug of our team, our little Ava Ruggiero. And granted, I'm biased, and Grizzly fans know this. Salem, you should know this too. But Ava Ruggiero, in my opinion, and I've seen a lot of high school basketball, she is by far the best defensive player in the league. So I think if she's on between that and Winterburn, we should be in pretty good shape.
I agree. Yeah, she's defended every team's best player all season long, and she's done it well, and she's held them in check. I think another key tonight is we saw Meredith Winterburn really have a great game against Pinkerton, and that's kind of a secret weapon. If Meredith comes out and gets 10 points tonight, that's big for this team. And you spread that around with the Ruggiero, the Sassos, the Vaughns, and her sister, that's a pretty balanced scoring sheet. I'll take it.
Right, yeah, and that should put us in really good shape. So tonight we are going to have Al. He'll be doing the starting lineups in just a minute or two. He'll be doing his thing, obviously introducing both teams. Like I said, we welcome the people from Salem who are hopefully tuning in and enjoying this broadcast. We'll try to be as non-biased as possible, but it's going to come out both ways. So injury fronts, what do we know about the injuries right now?
Well, the Grizzlies missing one tonight. Their first player off the bench, Caroline Foreman-Holmes, sick. Went to the doctor early this morning, hoping we can win tonight and get her back on the floor Friday night. But that's a big piece. She's that role player that comes in, first one off the bench. She spells time for Ava Vaughn. She can spell time for Meredith. She can play the post. She can play the wing. She likes to shoot that three-pointer. So, I think that's a big piece of that rotation that they'll have to try to figure out.
Yeah, and she's a key big for us.
Yeah.
Underneath and getting a lot of the rebounds and stuff like that. So
Absolutely.
It is going to be. I think what we'll probably end up seeing is maybe Penny Annis will get more
Absolutely.
court time and stuff.
And I do
like
know
that.
when I got here, all the players asked, "How's Caroline? How's Caroline? How's Caroline?" Meredith said, "This one's for you."
There we go. So hopefully Caroline's
That's
tuning
right.
in, right.
That's right. She's on the couch with the dog watching. I'm sure her brother's watching too. So we're going to get ready for starting lineups here, and then national anthem, and then we'll rejoin you guys.
Yeah, we'll rejoin everything, but we'll be kicking it over to Al here in just a minute. 16 seconds.
Terry, T-A-R-R-Y? T-E-R-R-Y. Yeah. That's
D-O-S-T-I-E.
Got it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Goffstown High School for tonight's preliminary round game of the 2023 NHIAA Division I Girls Basketball Tournament between the Blue Devils of Salem High School and the Grizzlies of Goffstown High School. And now let's meet tonight's starting lineups. For Salem, at guard, a 6-foot junior, number 15, Charlotte Hinchy. For Goffstown, at forward, a 6-foot 1-inch senior, number 12, Ava Winterburn. For Salem, at guard, a 5-foot 7-inch sophomore, number 2, Lily George. For Goffstown, at forward, a 5-foot 9-inch sophomore, number 14, Meredith Winterburn. For Salem, at guard, a 5-foot 6-inch sophomore, number 13, Ella Mosto. For Goffstown, at guard, a 5-foot 9-inch senior, number 21, Ava Vaughn. For Salem at guard, a 5'7" sophomore, number 10, Ayla Regan. For Goffstown at guard, a 5'9" junior, number 1, Maggie Sasso. For Salem at guard, a 5'6" freshman, number 4, Lindsay Getz. For Goffstown at guard, a 5'5" senior, number 3, Ava Ruggiero. The coach of the Blue Devils is Ricky Oliver. Assistant coaches are Kristen Jeffrey. Coach of the Grizzlies is Steve Largy. Assistant coaches are Nate Bracey, Cassidy Lalabert. And the officials for tonight's game are Chris Maddy and Terry Dostey. Ladies and gentlemen, the NHIAA and its member schools want to thank you for coming out to support your team this evening. High school sports are an extension of the classroom learning experience. The student athletes competing today have worked hard in the classroom and on the court this season. As we encourage them to demonstrate good sportsmanship, we would like to ask you, our fans, to help make this event a meaningful one for all of our athletes by showing respect for your team, the opposing team, the coaches, and the officials. And in the likely event of an emergency or fire alarm activation, all occupants are asked to leave the gymnasium via the nearest exit. There are exits on the left and right side of the stands. And also be reminded that for the safety of the players, coaches, and officials, no fans are allowed onto the playing surface at any time before, during, or after the game. And now, ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise and remove your hats as we honor America, our servicemen and women serving all over the globe, and all of our veterans with the playing of our national anthem.
Welcome back, basketball fans, and welcome back to the Grizzly Den live in Goffstown, New Hampshire, where the Goffstown Lady Grizzlies will be playing against the Salem Lady Blue Devils.
Blue Devils, yes.
So we're here for exciting playoff action, and this is really what it comes down to all year long. And
right. It's a brand new season. Tonight it starts.
This is it.
You want to make your run, and you want to get hot early.
Yep, this is where the regular season doesn't matter. This is what it's all about.
That's right.
So we have Ava Winterburn's going to come to the line, and she's going to take the opening tip against Charlotte Henchy, the Salem Blue Devils. Winterburn hit it over to her sister Meredith. Meredith Winterburn to Ava underneath, and she already draws the foul.
Quick foul.
And that looks like against Ella Mostow.
I'll help you out.
Yeah,
First quarter, then I'm done.
I'm just going to say Molly and Ella. Everybody in Salem already knows who they are.
They're tuning in to hear your fine broadcasting skills.
Yeah, well, they'll tune in quickly and find out that they're not there. Ava Winterburn hit both of them.
But I do understand Jersey Jan's already tuned in, so.
Well, there you go. So we got people from around the country tuned in. So we have George. George over to Reagan. Back to George. Went to Getz and then put that up as Reagan. Back out to Getz from three-point land, just off the back rim. Ava Winterburn hit that rebound over to Maggie Sasso to Ruggiero.
Forced it
that
there.
was intercepted by Henchy. Foul on Ruggiero.
Yeah, we like to play quick, but you can't force it. And Ava Ruggiero looked like she was just forcing that pass in there.
So you got Lindsay Getz in here. Getz kicked that out to Ella. That's over to George. George back to Reagan. Fires a shot, missed off the back rim. Maggie Sasso over to Ruggiero. Ava Winterburn here in the top of the key. She goes in.
Oh, the lefty.
Yep, she pulled it on their left side. Couldn't get that around Henchy. So the Blue Devils will get this ball. Hit in by George to Getz. Getz working it down the court. Ruggiero on her. Getz back to George, back to Getz. Kicks it out to Reagan. Reagan over to George. George tries to go around Vaughn, put it back to Getz. Vaughn's on her. Over to Reagan. Back to Getz. And the Blue Devils are doing a good job.
Yeah, really moving the ball around.
Yeah. But we talked all season about
that perimeter defense.
The perimeter defense, but also the girls communicating well and handing it off.
Yeah. Foul on Sasso there. That's a couple times down the floor where, the Blue Devils have gotten a second shot or third shot. So we got to clean up the rebounding again.
So this was inbounded by Ella Moscow. Over to George. George out to Getz. Ruggiero again on her. She's now goes underneath for the layup. Just missed that. Ava Winterburn comes down with the rebound. Led Maggie just a little too far.
Yeah, again, trying to make the really great pass right now. Don't make the great pass. Make the good one that you know is going to get there. That was a tough pass.
It was a tough pass. And I think Goffstown's got to slow down a little bit on the offense.
Yeah, take a breath.
A little bit of nerves, like you said.
Absolutely.
Ruggiero here gets a steal. Stole that from Ella. Vaughn went in for the layup, but she was denied by Henchy. But Ava Winterburn was right there to clean up the rebound and lay it up.
It was a good
George
block by
with
Henchy,
the ball
yeah.
now. Over to Reagan. Back to Henchy. Back to George. George tries to go around Meredith Winterburn. Kicks it out to Ella. She drew a foul, so she'll go to the line. 14, that's Meredith Winterburn. So already the Grizzlies have
three quick fouls
here.
Not where you want to be.
2.5 minutes into the game, so that ain't a good sign. It's going to be important for the Blue Devils to hit pretty much all the shots they get. Free throws are exactly that for them, so they really need to hit these. Ella missed both.
And she picks up the foul. So I'm going to already say the officials are going to call this game tight. I mean, we've got 5 fouls and we're a couple minutes into the game. So
right.
The message is out. You got to keep your hands to yourself and play good D.
So Salem went in for a press,
That was a
and
foul.
they ended up getting the ball. Because Ava Winterburn tried to kind of force a pass into Maggie Sasso. Ava now with the ball in the key. Ruggiero takes a 3. She hit that nice rainbow.
Yeah, that handoff play has been really good for them all year.
So now Getz with the ball over to George. George takes a long 3.
Another
underneath
offensive
Henchy.
rebound.
She got it a second time. Back out to George, to Getz, over to Reagan. Reagan with the ball. Back to George. George to Getz. She's going to shoot a 3. That's wide. Went to Meredith Winterburn. Winterburn comes down with it over to Maggie Sasso. Sasso out to Ruggiero and
Good
Vaughn's
fake.
corner. Oh,
Just a
Ruggiero
little
takes-
short. Off Hinchy,
Yep.
though.
Yep.
I thought she rushed it. She had a good look, but I thought she rushed it.
So Ruggiero's going to inbound this for the Grizzlies. And she's looking around over to Ava Winterburn. Henchy on her. Winterburn's shooting a 3 just off the rim. And George came down with that rebound. Over to Reagan. Reagan back to Henchy. Top of the point. Back to George. Over to Getz. Getz looks around, tried to work it around
kickball.
Ava Winterburn. Winterburn got her foot on that one.
Players looking around like, how'd that ball end up over there?
So the Blue Devils will inbound this. This is Ella Mostow inbounding it over to George. George and Meredith Winterburn.
Tried to get a timeout
Ricky
there.
Oliver
but
tried to get the timeout, didn't get it. I think he's happy that didn't happen. George with the ball over to Mostow.
another touch foul here.
That'll be on Ava Vaughn.
Yep.
So they're spreading the fouls around, that's for sure. So Ricky Oliver calls the timeout for the Salem Blue Devils.
Yeah, they've had plenty of shots. They've had sometimes 2 or 3 shots per possession. They're just not going in at this point. So got to settle them down a little bit. And I know what Largy's got to tell them on our end. Keep your hands to yourself, girls. We got to stay out of foul trouble.
Well, they got to stay out of foul trouble, and not only that, they got to offensively. They should be commanding the ball a little bit better.
I mean, it's 7-0, but it sure doesn't feel like it's 7-0.
You're right. It doesn't feel like
No.
it. And like you said, a little bit more luck around the basket with the Blue Devils, and this game is to be a lot different.
Absolutely.
So they are having a hard time putting it in. I think that's been sort of a problem for Salem all season.
Yep.
That's why Getz, who was playing down in JV, she was averaging 20 to 30 points a night. I don't know why it took them so long to pull her up. But
But good for her, and she's had a real good season, leading the team the rest of the way, about 10 points a game. So
that's right.
make the most of your opportunities.
So this ball went to Getz, back out to George, over to Henchy. Ruggiero's on her. Back over to Reagan. Reagan to George. George looks around, back to Getz. Getz trying to get in on Ava Winterburn. Over to Reagan. Reagan out to Henchy, but Meredith Winterburn's on her. Back out to George. Tries to go around Penny Ennis, but no go there.
Great perimeter
Reagan.
defense again.
Yep. Reagan with the ball. That was hit away by by Ava Ruggiero.
Yeah. The Grizzlies making it real difficult to get the pass into the post. They did have a mismatch before Ruggiero guarding somebody a little taller, but they just couldn't get it in. We're playing really good perimeter defense.
You're kidding. Ruggiero's guarding somebody a little taller? It doesn't happen.
Hard to
Ava
believe, I
Ruggiero.
know.
So this is Reagan. Goes it over to George. Out to Henchy. Back to Getz. Getz tries to go in. She kicks it back out to Reagan to get to take that shot. Reagan hit the shot. Well, that's the first basket for Salem.
Very patient on offense, and they got what they wanted.
Yep. And Sasso went out to Winterburn. To Ruggiero's going to take a long 3. That's short. Meredith Winterburn hit that out of bounds. So Blue Devils will.
Uh-oh. As soon as say it was tipped, it looks like.
The 2 officials will have a little conference on this.
Yeah, they're saying Ruggiero's shot was tipped. So it's going to be white ball, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it looked like Meredith.
I thought
kept
Meredith
it
was.
in,
Yeah.
But I don't know if she was.
Yeah.
He was calling her because she.
All right, so they're going to keep it Salem ball, yeah.
Yeah.
So the ball was tipped on the shot, but Meredith was out of bounds when she tried to save
hit
it. So
right.
the officials huddled and made the good call. Or the correct call.
Right. So here goes Getz. Out to Ella, and that went off Maggie Sasso's foot. So this will be Ella Mostow. Gonna throw it in over to Getz. Getz tries to circle in. They're gonna call a foul.
Yeah, it
This
might
on
be 2
Ruggiero.
on Ruggiero.
Yep.
So that's 2 on her. So
2 on
things
Ava
start to
already.
get interesting, yeah.
So Ava Vaughn's gonna come in for Ruggiero. And, you know, the Blue Devils are getting what they're wanting. They're slowing the Grizzlies
They're very
down.
patient, yeah. I mean, they're just
And-
moving the ball around and
Well, like we said, if they would hit some of their shots, this would be a different game.
well,
Oh,
she's
another
hit
three.
too.
Yeah, Reagan, that's her second three. She's got all the scoring at 7-6. So here we are
Yeah.
most of the way through the first quarter, and they're right in this. Ava Winterburn tried to put one up. That just missed. Ella Mostow's got the ball. She's working it down the court with Ava Vaughn on her. Kick that out to Getz. Getz over to George, just off the rim. Winterburn comes down with the rebound. Throws a long pass to Maggie Sasso. Sasso comes in underneath.
Great move.
Yep, and she'll draw the foul. Yeah, Maggie did make a good little move there to go around.
Two
go
on
around
Hinchy,
George.
so they're going to have to go to the bench.
13 foul. Maggie Sasso at the foul line, 2 shots.
And that's going to bring in Maddie Bealey.
You know, I was just going to say on that last trip, I would love to see them get Maggie Sasso involved in this offense, and next play down she did. So
She did, yeah.
great move, up and under, picked up the foul.
Well, we know Maggie's a very controlled player.
She is.
She has a tendency to take over when she gets it. She kind of slows the tempo down, and she just got both her free throws, so it's 9-6 Grizzlies. You got George now with the ball over to Bealey. Went into Mostow, but she was denied by Ava Winterburn.
She was waiting for that shot.
Yep. Ella Mostow is going to inbound this now. Over to Getz. Meredith Winterburn's on her. Getz tries to work around the point. Over to George. George looks around. Back to Getz. Getz to George. To Mostow. Back to Getz. Out to Reagan for another three.
Yeah.
Just missed that. Ava Winterburn comes down with the rebound. Looks like she's going all the way in.
Yeah.
Be a foul on Penny Annis, I think.
Yeah. You know, I liked Ava pushing that ball, but you know, was going one track mind. I'm going to get the shot off. She didn't even look up to see her teammates. You know, push the ball, but look up because your teammates are there.
Again, offensively, we have to slow it down.
Yeah.
Just set up the play. Now Getz with the ball over to George. Ooh. She takes a shot from the three-point land, just missed.
That's a good look up right there. Winterburn to Winterburn.
Yeah, Ava to Meredith. Two sisters exchange passes.
So obviously she heard
Meredith
me.
hit the
I said
layup.
look up.
Yep, she did.
I'll take credit for it.
So Bealey,
Another
foul.
It's going to be 2 on Meredith.
All right, so Meredith Winterburn now with the foul.
Personal foul, 17 foul. Maggie Bealey at the foul line, 2 shots.
Looks like Gemma's coming in for the Grizzlies.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Bealey missed the first one. Gemma Panarin came in for Meredith Winterburn. Number 20 for the Blue Devils checks in, and I don't even have her on the roster.
Michaela Burns.
Burns. Well, there you go. So Maggie Sasso now with the ball here for the Grizzlies. She works it over half court. She looks around over to Ava Vaughn. Vaughn now with the ball up at the top of the point. Vaughn back to Sasso. This is Grizzlies now. They're slowing it down and trying to set something up.
Yep, there it is, Maggie.
Maggie's going to work her way
Now, I don't know
in.
how that's not a foul. 10 other fouls and a half, and that one wasn't called.
Right. Burns now with the ball. Out to George. George with the ball. And she tried to lead Reagan, but it was stolen by Maggie Sasso to Ava Winterburn, who tries for the layup and just missed that. Vaughn came flying in out of nowhere.
Ava had time.
So this will be the Blue Devils ball with less than a second left to go. So this will be over. First quarter's done, 11-7 Grizzlies. But the Blue Devils, I think, have done what they wanted to. So
they've been in control on offense, not forcing anything. They're okay passing the ball around the perimeter. If they're getting that three-point shot, they've hit a couple early. So, you know, we're in some foul trouble. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rotation and the substitutions go. But Rogero's got 2. Meredith Winterburn has 2 fouls. like you said before, I'd like to see us kind of get an offensive flow or rhythm going, and
Yeah,
that
that was
means
exactly
a
what we
half
got.
court,
No rhythm
right?
going
A
right
half court type of offense.
Right.
You know, feed the high post, get our guards to cut to the basket, kick back out to get a three. So hopefully we'll make some adjustments here.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of the nerves is kicking in.
Yep.
And you're right, the word is rhythm. We don't really have any. We've seen a little bit of helter-skelter there.
Yep.
They're trying to force passes that aren't there. On the other hand, you have the Blue Devils. When they're in the offensive zone, they seem to be playing with pretty good control.
They are.
They seem to be doing what we want the Grizzlies to do, which is passing it around. The Blue Devils are very good at passing the ball.
Yep.
Kind of utilizing all their players, and a little bit of different kind of basket luck. If they were able to sink a couple of more buckets, this quarter could look completely different than it does.
Absolutely.
So the Grizzlies can't take this for granted. This it's not just a game you show up for and win.
Yeah,
They're working all year for this.
They played 8 minutes, the Grizzlies, and they only had 3 baskets made. So they scored 4 free throws, but only 3 baskets made.
Right.
That's not the production.
That's not Grizzly basketball.
No.
So you got Bealey here. She tries to go in.
A lot of contact there,
both
too.
Penny Ennis and Sasso. She then got the steal from Vaughn. So Reagan takes another 3.
She's got 3.
That's 3 threes for her. 11-10. Maggie Sasso with the ball to Gemma Panarin. Back to Sasso. Sasso's working it down the court. Gets all over her. Sasso over to Ava Winterburn. Winterburn goes in, and she drew a foul against Bealey. Maddie Bealey drew that foul. So Winterburn will go to the line.
Yeah, so Ayla Regan's got 3 threes. Her season average, she's about 7 points. She's already got 9, which is starting the second quarter.
So Winterburn's got the first basket. You don't want to put Ava Winterburn on the line, because if you get her heated up.
Ah, you jinxed her, Bob.
Yeah.
Way to go.
I might have jinxed her. Sorry, Ava.
You owe her one now.
I know. George with the ball. George out to Getz. Over to Reagan. Reagan tries to go in on Vaughn. Back to Getz. Getz brings it in. Just missed the layup. Gemma Panarin comes down with the rebound. She needs help. She throws it out to Maggie Sasso. Sasso over to Penny Ennis. Penny out to Gemma.
One more.
Over to Sasso.
Vaughn.
Over to Vaughn in Vaughn's corner. Vaughn moved in a little bit. Just missed that, so it's going to be still Grizzlies' possession. Maggie Sasso with the ball now. She's going to inbound this to Winterburn underneath, and Winterburn hit that one. 14-10 Grizzlies. We've got Nunez bringing it down over to Bealey. Out to George. George to Reagan. Back to Nunez. To George to Nunez. Nunez over to Reagan. Back to George to Nunez. Inside for Burns. Back to Reagan. Takes a 3. And I think Gemma Panarin's going to draw a foul here. Yep, that would be Gemma. It's going to bring Ruggiero back in the game. So this will take Gemma. So you might have heard...
There's a lot going on
You
here.
might have heard Ricky Oliver yelling.
We're in the bonus.
Letting his girls know that the Grizzlies were in a zone defense.
And they actually weren't. I think he was confused just by the matchups, but they were still in their traditional man-to-man.
Well, and the thing is that it almost looks like a zone, but it's the way they hand it off.
Yep.
So that's probably what it is. Anyway, so George just sunk both her shots. Now you got Ava Ruggiero bringing it down for the Grizzlies.
And Ava's got to be careful. She's got 2 fouls.
Right. So she's going to have to be careful if she drives in. Maggie Sasso.
Good play.
Inside to Ruggiero,
Good
and
play.
this time she draws one.
Yep, I like that play.
Taking one. I'll tell you,
I like that give-and-go play.
like we've said all year, though, Ruggiero never changes her game. I don't care if she's got 2 fouls or 4 fouls or we're winning, we're losing. It doesn't make any difference. She's going to drive every chance she gets. Ruggiero takes her first shot just off the rim. Looks like Getz is coming back in the game for Salem. She'll replace George. So Ava Ruggiero is going to take her second opportunity here. And she sunk that one. So 15-12. It's only a 3-point game.
Yeah, close game.
Yep. So you got Nunez here for the Blue Devils working it down. Over to Bealey. Bealey tries to go in underneath. Around Vaughn and above Maggie Sasso, and she sunk it. 1-point game. Sasso out to Ava Winterburn. Winterburn underneath, and she gets another layup.
Spot up, gave her the head fake and drove. That was a great move.
Yep. And Winterburn is the key. Nunez here. Out to Reagan. And out to Getz. Getz trying to go around Ruggiero. Ruggiero again got to be careful. Maggie Sasso gets slightly beat by Bealey. Put up by Nunez.
Good job by Penny there on the boards.
Penny Ennis comes down with that rebound. Out to Sasso. Sasso now with the ball. Underneath.
Great move.
Yeah, it's a great move. She had 3 Blue Devils on her. She just did that little stop.
And that pivot move. You can't stop it. I mean, she gave the up and under. What a great move. We need a few more of those.
Yes. Nunez out to Bealey. And Bealey put it up and just missed.
Another offensive rebound for Salem.
Right, but that time it was stolen by Ruggiero. Over to Winterburn, slightly behind her. Winterburn back to Ruggiero. Ruggiero underneath. Ooh, she tried to do the hook. But Penny Ennis is under there. And that went off Penny. So the Blue Devils will gain control of the ball.
This is, I think this is an important stretch, Bob. Just under 5 minutes here in the second. We want to stay out of foul trouble. We want to continue to push the ball and be aggressive at times. But, you want to get some separations. This is 5 points. You want to get a separation.
Right. So Getz now with the ball. Getz over to George. To Mostow to Nunez. Ava Winterburn's on her. They go inside to Reagan, then out to Ella Mostow. That was in and out.
Yeah.
Apparently went off Penny Ennis. So Vaughn came off now, and Meredith Winterburns worked her way back into the game. Burns is going to inbound this to Ella, over to Nunez. Nunez out to Getz. That was not tipped. Ricky Oliver is yelling for a tip ball, but that was not tipped. We have the replay, Ricky. Ava Ruggiero with the ball, out to Sasso. Sasso to Winterburn.
Yeah, hand check.
So Winterburn drew the foul this time against Ella Mostow.
Her second.
So Meredith Winterburn now will inbound this for the Grizzlies. Over to Ruggiero. Ruggiero, Nunez all over her. Ruggiero now with the ball. Over to Penny Ennis. Ennis underneath.
That's a good take by Penny.
That was a nice take.
Yeah, that was a good move by Penny.
Yeah. I liked it. I liked the aggression.
I do too. I'll take it.
Yep. Coming into the game for the Salem Blue Devils is Caroline Case. She's taking out Ella Mostow. You have Getz now inbounding this for Nunez. Nunez working down for the Blue Devils. Ruggiero on her. Over to Getz. Getz now over to George. Okay. Went to Burns. Burns to Case. Case looks out, throws it to George. Back to Nunez. Nunez to Getz. Again, the Grizzlies doing a good job of keeping him on the perimeter. Case with the ball. Over to George. Back out to Getz. Over to Nunez. Nunez now trying to go in on Maggie Sasso. Can't do it. George came in and got a nice pass. Kicks it out to Case, who goes for a three-pointer. And that off the rim. Penny Ennis came down with the rebound to Ruggiero. Over to Sasso. Maggie Sasso in. Kicks it out to Winterburn. To Ruggiero on the top of the key. She's going to take a three and just missed that. Case came down with the rebound. George now with the ball for the Blue Devils, working it back in. Again, the Blue Devils are getting what they want.
Plenty
They're
of
keeping us
perimeter
off
passing,
the board.
yeah.
And if you don't keep track of time of possession, but the Blue Devils have had this ball more than we have.
Definitely in their favor.
Yep. So you got George now with the ball. And she looks around back to Getz. Cleared the court. Getz couldn't sink the layup. Went out of bounds. It went off Burns, so the Grizzlies will maintain. You feel the Grizzlies are lucky when they get the ball.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be feeling that way.
No,
I mean,
they're really working hard to get every possession. And
right.
Salem had a game plan, and they're sticking to it, and so far it's been pretty successful.
Well, yeah, I'd say it is, even though they're behind right now.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, the Grizzlies should be way ahead.
And the Grizzlies are way out of sync right now.
Yep. So you got George here to Case to Getz. Getz here in the top of the point. Looks around over to Reagan. And as you heard Al announce, there's less than 2 minutes now in the half. Okay, Case put that shot up and went off the rim. Meredith Winterburn came down with the rebound over to her sister Ava. Out to Ruggiero, who shoots from Vaughn's corner. Went off the rim. Ooh.
And she saved it.
It looked like
she said Ava was out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tough,
She was in the air.
Tough angle. We'll have to ask Frank McBride over in the corner.
Yep, he would know. So, anyway, Getz is bringing down the ball for the Blue Devils. Trying to go around Ruggiero. Out to Case. Case put it up. It went out to Getz. Again, another rebound that the Grizzlies should have had. Ava Winterburn fighting for that ball. The Meredith Winterburn. Meredith tries to feed Vaughn in the corner, but Getz right there to intercept that pass. Now Reagan over to George. Inside underneath the Case. Back out to George, who's taking a three. Again off the rim. Maggie Sasso with the ball. Over to Ava Winterburn. Winterburn's working it down for the Grizzlies. Over to Vaughn, back to Maggie Sasso, and she'll draw the foul, I believe, on Case. Yep, 14.
The last few times, here's the replay here, last few times we've been successful. It's because we're passing and cutting to the basket. So good job by Maggie and Ava Vaughn feeding that. But I'd like to see a whole lot more of that right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. We're definitely, the Grizzlies are out of sync here.
Yeah.
Maggie Sasso.
Well, some of it has to do with, you're running around for 30 seconds on defense, around the perimeter on defense, and you finally get the ball on offense. You're like, well, let's just try to score real quick.
Right. Ruggiero comes out.
Shannon O'Brien checked in.
Shannon O'Brien for the Grizzlies. Sasso takes her second shot. Them both. Sinks that in. So Burns inbounds this for George. George working her way down. Over to Reagan. Reagan's been dangerous in three-point land. George to Getz. Getz tries to go in on Sasso. Out to Case. Out to George. George tries to work it in. Kicks it out to Case. Reagan tries to throw it up off the backboard. Went down to Meredith Winterburn, the Sasso forces.
Miscommunication. Again, another force, 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Work the ball down, set something up.
Ava's frustrated. She wanted to get it, but she saw that O'Brien was underneath, too.
Yeah, Shannon was right behind her.
Yep, and it went by both of them. Getz now with the ball. She looks underneath, and Ava Winterburn just came down and said, nope, you ain't getting this layup. Big height disadvantage there. Getz probably 5'5", 5'6", maybe. And Ava Winterburn 6'1". Getz now with the ball. Throws it out to Reagan, to George, to Reagan. It went off her hands and out of bounds.
4.5 seconds. We'll see if the Grizzlies can get a shot here.
So this should be a set play.
Yeah, Largy called out a play here.
Yeah, so obviously it's going to be to get the ball to Winterburn, obviously. Maggie Sasso.
Maggie, take it.
Sasso's going to drive it right in, and she got the shot. And
somehow that was one of our best looks of the night, 4.5 seconds.
And it was just denied.
Yeah.
So not the best half for the Grizzlies, but they're ahead 21-14, and
somehow it doesn't feel like it's a 7-point lead.
It doesn't.
No.
It was a little stressful.
Credit to Salem. Ricky had a game plan. The game plan was, let's be patient on offense.
Yep.
Let's tire them out, pick up some fouls, and let's shoot some threes. And if a couple of those threes go in, like they did for Regan, you got a ball game. On the other side, Largy's got to be telling them, look, we got to take care of rebounds, we also got to get our plays on offense. When Maggie drives, when Ava drives, that's what we're looking for. Let's not just settle for that first three-pointer you get.
Yeah.
So hats off to Salem because I think their game plan has kept them in the game. We'll see what the adjustments look like at halftime and who comes out with the better game plan.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree 100%. Salem, all the credit in the world to Salem. I mean, they're playing the game that they wanted to. And as I said, they're doing a good job of maintaining ball control in the offensive zone.
Yep.
They've had, unlike the Grizzlies, which is uncharacteristic for the Goffstown Grizzlies, they haven't had that many turnovers. The Grizzlies have,
They have.
on the other hand. Grizzlies making poor passes, sometimes poor judgments, and like you said, taking any old shot rather than setting it up, where the Blue Devils seem to be trying to work that shot and trying to get the best shot they possibly can. They've just had some bad luck around the basket, but I mean, if they were sinking a few more hoops, this would be a completely different looking game.
Agreed.
Jen, we are going to take a break for halftime, so we'll be back with second half action in just a couple of minutes.
watching Grizzly basketball.
This tension is rising so thick we just might choke. But if we keep moving, it ain't us that's gonna wind up broke. Some people might think we're crazy, but crazy is all we've known. It's probably that they just ain't ready. That's why they're going up in smoke. We're giving this all we've got. We're taking our only shot. On a tightrope, we're surviving. Yeah. Trying to make it to a new horizon. This moment feels so cutthroat. So cutthroat. So cutthroat. The stakes get so much higher when it's so late on the line. But we don't feel no fear. We ain't got no kryptonite. We're giving this all we've got. We're taking our only shot. No. On a tightrope, we're surviving. Yeah. Trying to make it to a new horizon. This moment feels so cutthroat. So cutthroat.
Grizzly fans and Salem Blue Devil fans and all the fans who are tuned in from around the country to watch this exciting Division I high school girls basketball game. First half ended 21-14 the Grizzlies, but the Blue Devils are playing to their strategy. And your daughter had some very good insight.
Yeah, modern technology. So Coach Caroline at home is texting the bench saying, don't force the pass, make the easy pass. So hopefully the message got to the players on the floor, and we make the easy pass and get a couple easy baskets to start this quarter.
You know what it is? She summed it up better than we did. It took us 5 minutes after the game, after halftime, to try to actually say what she said in one sentence. So Caroline once again demonstrated she's smarter than either one of us. Grizzlies are going to get possession of this ball here. Meredith Winterburn's going to inbound this. She looks around. Oh, tries to go to Sasso, but it's intercepted by Reagan. Or George, actually, to Reagan, and Reagan get an easy bucket right underneath.
Yeah, not the start you wanted.
Yep. Ava Winterburn now moving in on Henchy. Winterburn kicks it out to Vaughn. Vaughn moves in. Tried to go with an underhand pass and handed it to Getz. Getz now with the ball. Kicks it out to George on top of the key.
Turnover by Henchy.
And then there was a turnover by Henchy. But Grizzlies not getting the start they want.
No, and Salem's going to come out and put a little pressure on here. They know this is the window. They got to make it happen right here.
Right. Ava Winterburn throws it over to Ruggiero. She's got Regan on her. Ruggiero works it around over to Maggie Sasso. Up top with Getz on her. Sasso works it in.
Good look.
Throws it in to Ava Winterburn. Winterburn tries to put one up and just missed off the rim. Reagan comes down with this ball. I don't know why she didn't take it to the basket.
She had
probably would have drew a
momentum,
foul. Getz with the ball out to Henchy. Over to Mostow, underneath, hit the bottom of the rim. That went over to Vaughn. Vaughn now with Ava Winterburn. Ava's going to drive it right in. She throws it out to her sister Meredith, who takes the three-pointer. Winterburn, Ava with the rebound. Went off Meredith to Ava, out to Sasso. Sasso takes the three-pointer and hit
Maggie's
that.
been hot.
And we needed that.
Yeah, it kind of looks like when we're on offense, it's hot potato. It's like, shoot, quick, shoot, quick. No, it's take control of the ball. I mean, Maggie, that was a good jump shot there. But
Yep. And, you know, obviously in high school, there's no shot clock. They got to take their time. And now the Blue Devils drew a foul. That's on Vaughn. Ava Vaughn. So that's her second. So this is Ella Mostow. She'll now go to the line, take a shot. And she got the first one. Oh, that's showing it's a 1-1, right? So
she made the basket.
That's right. So she turned it into a three-point play is what she did. Meredith Winterburn out to her sister Ava. Ava throws it back out to Meredith, over to Maggie Sasso. Out to Vaughn in Vaughn's corner. Vaughn
Nailed
fired
it.
the three. Nailed it.
Nailed it.
And we needed that too.
That was a big shot. She had a big three the other night. That corner has been so nice to her all year.
That's why we call it Vaughn's corner.
That's right.
So Getz went to George. George out to Reagan. Reagan works it out to Getz. Getz kind of tries to come in on Ruggiero.
Sure why that wasn't a walk, but a couple extra steps there.
Yeah, Ava Winterburn comes down with the ball, throws it to her sister Meredith. Meredith drives in, tries to get the layup. Ava's right there to clean up the rebound, and she sunk it in. Salem works it down. Getz to Reagan. Reagan takes a three. Went off the rim to Maggie Sasso. Sasso slowing this down, which is good.
That's
Sasso
a foul.
tried to go around Mostow.
It's an arm bar.
She drew the foul.
It's her third.
So 29-10. This is finally got to feel like you got a little breathing space now. 10 points. This is the biggest lead.
I'm
we've
hoping
had.
that three-pointer by Vaughn woke up the giant, you know,
Right.
so to speak. Let's put a few good offensive possessions together.
So Marinelli worked her way in for the Blue Devils. We got Ruggiero with the ball now to Ava Winterburn, over to Maggie Sasso. Sasso tries to work it in, kick that out to Vaughn. To Winterburn, who takes a three off the rim. And George came down with the rebound. George is coming in, takes a long three, just missed that. And the Blue Devils hit that away, so the Grizzlies will maintain control of this ball.
They had numbers there, 2-on-1. She pulled up for a three. I'm not sure that was the best shot, but we'll take it.
So Ruggiero inbounds this to Maggie Sasso. Maggie's slowing it down, and this is what we need to do, keep it slow. You can hear Coach Oliver wanting his girls to pick up the pace.
Great look by Winterburn.
It was a beautiful look, because you thought for sure she was going to shoot it. Shoveled it right down to Maggie, who was waiting right under the basket, wide open.
Jump ball by Ruggiero.
Ruggiero.
I thought we were going to get a foul. Now, he called a foul on the outside, so this will be interesting.
So they're going to huddle, and it's either going to be the third foul on Ruggiero.
I'd
or
like for it to
ball.
be a jump ball, but
I'd like to see that replay if we can do it.
yeah,
We might not have the best angle.
no. Jump ball,
Jump ball. Okay, good. So Ricky Oliver has a question on that. He was really hoping it was going to be a foul, but I don't know how that ref can make the call from where he was compared to where the other ref was.
No, it's about positioning, and one of them was out of position.
Right. The ref who called jump ball was right there.
Yeah.
Where it might have looked like a foul from his angle.
Sure.
Because obviously Ruggiero was reaching in.
Yep.
But whether she had her hands on the ball or gets his arm, either way.
Good defense here.
Good defense is right. Maggie Sasso leads Meredith Winterburn. At first, I didn't like the pass.
I didn't either.
Meredith comes over the top and gets it, and then she drew a foul. So Meredith will go to the line for 2. 31-19 Grizzlies. So we finally get that little bit of breathing space. Meredith takes the first shot off the rim.
Well, they're playing with a little more emotion, and a little more aggression.
Well, hitting those threes, that was really the key right there.
Yeah.
You had 2 of them. You had Maggie and Vaughn got them. So Henchy now over to George. George with the ball for the Blue Devils. Leads it over. And she's trying to direct traffic. George.
Good tip by Maggie.
Yeah, Maggie Sasso tipped that away from
These
Reagan.
were the things we didn't get in the first half, is some deflections on the
Blue
defensive
Devils,
side.
Yeah, the Blue Devils were controlling it.
Yep.
Now the Gets over to Reagan. Reagan tries to go in, and Ruggiero can't do it. Back out to George, to Reagan. Inside to Marnelli. Over to Hench. They're going to call Meredith for reaching over the top.
Yeah.
That would be her third, right?
Yep, that's her third.
So George is going to inbound this for the Blue Devils. And I didn't see what happened.
Yeah, Ava Winterburn got it from behind, it looked like.
Yeah, I had the coach right in front of me, so I couldn't see that.
At least he's good to look at.
Yes.
Well dressed.
He is a well-dressed, good-looking guy. So Henchy now with the ball.
Got a great relationship with the girls. They seem to respond very well to him.
Well, he's a good coach.
He is
clearly
very
knows
good,
what he's doing here. Meredith Winterburn now came off, and Penny Annis is back in. And she takes her second shot. And that's just off the rim. Ava Vaughn comes down with it. Over to Ruggiero. That was a hot pass, a little too hard to handle. Again, I think the Grizzlies are rushing it a little bit. They got to slow it down on offense. So you have Getz now inbounds this to George. George works it down the court to Henchy. Henchy tries to work her way in. She kicks it out to George, to Reagan, who's going for a 3, and that just missed. Ava Winterburn to Maggie Sasso. She sends her in on the breakaway, but Henchy denied her.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, though. She had the momentum, and she made a good play defensively.
Yeah, Henchy, I was just going to say the Blue Devils did make a good defensive play there. You're starting to see a little bit of slippage though with the Blue Devils as far as losing control. They seem to be the ones forcing the pass a little bit more.
Yeah.
And Maddie Beeley's going to work her way back in the game, so she'll spell Henchy for a few minutes. And Coach Ricky Oliver's here, and he's really talking to his girls. He wants them to play at that quick pace that they were playing with earlier. Ava Winterburn there got that ball.
A little set play, out of bounds play there, a little lob to Winterburn.
So you got Getz now with the ball. Out to Reagan, over to George. George tries to drive in. They're going to call Ava Winterburn, I think.
On the reach? Right, 12, yeah.
That's her second.
She looked, a couple times the Grizzlies have just looked a little lazy on defense. Somebody gets by you and you go for the reach.
They do got to be careful. This Blue Devil team wants it.
Yeah.
So, and like you said earlier, George with that first shot missed. And like you said earlier, the Blue Devils are coming into this 13th seed. They have nothing to lose.
Absolutely.
They're gonna leave it all out here.
Absolutely.
It's the Grizzlies that have the sort of the championship aspirations. So it's up to them to play.
Yeah, and Salem continues to get every loose ball, every offensive rebound. That's backcourt.
Okay. And
He's really
Coach
hot now.
Oliver's very unhappy
The
about
ball
that.
was tipped, but there was no possession, so that's a tough call.
So Ruggiero now inbounds it to Ava Winterburn. Over to Maggie Sasso, who was knocked down hard by Getz. I don't know, what did he call?
He called a travel. I don't know. I'm at a loss of words at this point.
Is this a flashback or what happened
It is
against
a
Pinkerton?
flashback, yeah.
I think it was a makeup that guy was giving. All right, Getz with the ball for the Blue Devils. And she puts
High
one
arcer.
up. High arc, but it went wide. Ava Winterburn, Penny Ennis, and Ruggiero. Ruggiero somehow wound up with it.
Yeah.
No shock there.
No.
On the Ruggiero to Winterburn, tries to pass it over.
Oh,
Beasley,
little give
couldn't
and
do
go.
it. Yeah, it was. Penny Ennis had the ball underneath, but she passed it
It almost
back to
looked like there was a
Winterburn.
fumble there,
Yeah,
but
it did, but
they obviously worked it out.
the two of them knew what they were doing.
Yeah. Foul on Penny there. That's her second.
This guy seems to like calling the foul on the Grizzly. I mean, I don't know if he's only
Here's that
seen the white.
replay here. It might be the foul. I
Yeah.
thought we were going to get the other one, but we're going to get a timeout by Salem here.
Yeah, full timeout.
So we're right where we were at halftime, right? What? No.
Well, 36-19, so we
no,
got
so a
some,
little bigger. We got a little breathing room
We got
here.
a nice cushion, but the point is that it doesn't feel completely
No.
safe, and the Blue Devils are, I
They're
think
out hustling us,
they
really.
are.
Yeah.
They're outworking us a little bit.
Yep.
And what you got to be careful of is, and sometimes we do have a problem with this, getting a little bit emotional if the calls aren't going our way.
Yep.
We got to be prepared for this. If we want to go far in the playoffs, we're going to have calls that aren't going to go our way.
Yeah.
Got to learn how to play through them and have it go,
I agree. It's the composure part. It's, okay, there was one bad play or one bad call you don't like. Let's move on to the next play. How can I make the next stop? How can I be a good teammate? Penny makes a great little, give and go play down there. So they have it in them. They all know what to do. So while we got a second, let's give a shout out. Jen's in the studio tonight, keeping us all organized. We have Aiden on a camera. We also have Scott Gross on a camera tonight. So
Yeah.
they
pulled the old man out of retirement.
I know. He didn't hesitate when we asked him, "Can you do the camera?" He said, "Sure, whatever."
Yes.
I mean, he tried to
That's the way Scott is. He'll
break
volunteer
your
to do
chops
anything.
before the game about your credentials. But
Yeah,
no,
I know. He's the same to both of us. All right, who's got the ball here? Getz over to Marnowi. Marnowi to Reagan. I'm sorry, to Getz. Getz tries to work her way underneath, and she does an easy
floater.
layup. Yeah, just floated that in. Penny Annis now to Maggie Sasso. And Ricky Oliver is being very boisterous. Wants this hustle from his team. Maggie Sasso
take.
comes in underneath. Oh, that should have went in,
Yeah,
but
good give and go.
she'll go to the. That foul is against Getz.
Her first.
So that'll put Sasso on the line. And Nunez is going to work her way back into the game for the Blue Devils. Maggie about to take her first shot. And sunk it. 37-21. That'll get Getz off the court for a few minutes. Nunez is out there. Looks like Abigail Estano is working her way back into she's going to work her way into the game for the first time for the Grizzlies. She's going to take out Ava Vaughn.
Maggie's had a real nice 3 quarters. She's got 12 points already.
Yep, Maggie's doing well, and she's one of the people that have to in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
She's going to be looked at as one of the leaders. So Nunez with the ball. Over to George. George looking to trying to go around Abigail, but couldn't get by
Winterburn with the
Winterburn.
tip.
To Sasso to Winterburn.
Little up and under.
Goes in for a layup underneath. That was a nice basket. Well needed. 40-21. Little room for the Grizzlies now. George with the ball. You can see the Grizzlies now opening up that lead. This is what we wanted to see in the first half. To Bealey.
They seem to have a little extra pep in their step right now.
And that's good, yep. Marinelli takes a long 3 just off the rim underneath. And
A foul on Penny.
Penny Ennis, that's her second. Third. It's a good thing you're keeping track of these numbers.
I got to keep you organized.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it. Carolyn Case is going to work her way back into the game, and she's going to replace Lily George. Case going to inbound this to Reagan. Reagan's taking a long three. That went right of everything. Ruggiero comes down with the rebound here.
Reagan hit 3 in the first half and just can't quite find it here in the second.
Yep, and you got Sasso now with the ball. And she feeds Ruggiero down underneath.
I don't know how she caught that.
I don't know either, and she flew it out to Penny Ennis to Sasso. Sasso's trying to work in, kicks it out to Ava Winterburn, who's taking a 3, and she hit that. What a nice shot by Ava Winterburn. Good pass by Sasso. And now the lead opens up 43-21.
Yeah.
So you got Bealey now with the ball. She tries to go in on Ruggiero. Missed that. Penny Ennis come down with the rebound. Winterburn.
Oh, how's that not a foul?
I have no idea. He's standing right there.
She got mugged.
He doesn't know what he's doing. Now he's going to come over and call one on the Grizzlies. White. Abigail Estano got a foul. Somehow, Nunez jumped on Maggie Sasso's back. It was not called.
No, that was.
But he saw Abigail Estano somehow do a reach in on somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, I could lend this gentleman my glasses.
I don't know that it's going to help.
Maggie Sasso with the ball now on the perimeter. Oh, tries to go
Good
over
defense.
Bealey, but Bealey, defended that well, but it went out of bounds. That's the Grizzlies' ball.
Now here's another one. The official's right on the sideline, and she didn't see it. She had to look over here.
Yeah,
I don't know how you're on the sideline and not be able to see the ball.
I don't know either. It's a good thing Grandpa George here got that right.
All right, so Largy's going to call timeout. 3.5 seconds. Draw up a quick play here. Got to think it's going to be some sort of lob to Winterburn or Maggie going to the basket.
You would think. And again, it feels good to finally have that little bit of cushion. But
It does.
you know, this is probably a much closer game than it needed to be for the Grizzlies.
I think so.
And like you mentioned earlier, we're putting a lot of work into getting this done.
Yep.
And you'd like to see them play with a little bit more organization, I think, and consistency. I mean, moving ahead, and that's what we got to look at.
You know, and I think, you know, if I'm taking one thing out of it, and if I'm the coach at the end of the game, I'm going to look at my seniors and say, there was a moment in this game where I need my senior leadership to take over. You guys know how to play. You know what our offense looks like. Don't get rattled. Don't get flustered. That's what they want you to do. And we have some great seniors on this team that know how to take over a game. So I think there'll be some conversation like that afterwards.
Right.
Again, like you said, a little closer. This game was a little closer for a long period of time, but got some good separation here in the third.
So this will be white ball. Grizzlies now have this ball. Maggie Sasso will be inbounding this for the Grizzlies. And
There it
she
is.
throws a long one to Winterburn.
Wide open.
Winterburn's just wide open and does an easy layup. And that'll end the third quarter. So 45-21 Grizzlies. And the Grizzlies started the quarter a little slow, but then sort of took it over.
Yeah, Ava Winterburn poured in 13 that quarter alone, 13. Maggie put in 2, 4, 6. Ava Vaughn hit the big 3. I still think that 3 changed the entire course of the game. It was something about it the other night. It was something here.
I was just going to say, it's the same shot from the same spot against Pinkerton.
Yeah, you know, every game, every team needs something that gets you over the top or gets you that motivation. Maybe it's a good defensive play. Maybe it's a great shot. That three-pointer gave us that momentum I think we needed. It put the offense back on track.
It did help. You felt it change. You felt almost like a sense of relief when she hit it.
Yep.
And
she had 2 shots earlier in the game that were swatted. You know, so as a shooter, you're thinking, boy, am I going to make the one I shoot from 19 feet?
Right. So that was good. So I think really what it's about now in this fourth quarter, last quarter, is it's about really and we've talked about this before. It's establishing those good, clean habits because we're going to have to do this again Friday night.
That's right.
You know, if we hang on to win this game, we're going to have to play again on Friday night. And obviously the opponents only get tougher from here. And we both talked about in detail about how we felt that in Alvin we did not play well the last game we had, and we didn't want any of those bad habits to seep over to here. I think some of them did, at least in the first half of this game, but we seem to be working out of it, which is important. Ruggiero now with the ball. Tries to feed it into Maggie Sasso. Sasso with the ball. Gets on her. Over to Ava Winterburn. Winterburn slows it down and takes control. Tried to pass it out to Abigail Estano, and that just
Now, every
went
time
wide.
the whistle blows, I don't know who's going to get the ball. They both officials looked at each other.
We're somehow maintaining control of the ball. I thought Ava threw that out. It must have went off a Blue Devil. They're not even fighting it, so somehow I missed that. Abigail Estano, she's going to inbound it to Ava Winterburn. All you got to do is throw it up in the air, and Ava will get it. Now you got Ruggiero with the ball. She's got Reagan and her over to Sasso with Getz on her. Oh, out to Penny Annis. Penny lost control of it, but she got her own rebound there. Ava Winterburn over to Maggie. Maggie's going to drive underneath. She goes down in a heap underneath. I think she might have drew a foul on. Nope. They're just going to call it out of bounds.
Every whistle's a mystery whistle.
Everyone is a mystery whistle.
Abigail from the corner.
Oh, off the top of the backboard. Maggie Sasso got that rebound and puts up a layup.
Maggie was in the right place at the right time. Kind of just fell in her hands.
So George now with the ball for the Blue Devils. Works it in over to Reagan, who takes a long three. And she hit a couple in the first half, but she's been snake bit here in the second half. Ava Winterburn comes down, drives it in underneath, throws it out to Abigail. Estano over to Sasso. Back to Winterburn, who's now on the top of the key. Takes the three. She hit that with ease.
Yeah.
50-21, so the Grizzlies increase their lead now over the Blue Devils. And seems like the seas parted for George, and she took advantage of it, but she went down hard.
Yeah, I saw Ava Ruggiero look over like, who's guarding her?
And there was no contact made. Well, until after she came down.
Yeah. So Ruggiero picks up her third.
But they are calling it. That's her, isn't that? That's her third.
Yeah, her third.
That's her third.
Yeah. So real quick, I'm looking at the stat sheet. Salem's been very consistent. They scored 7 points in the first, 7 in the second, 8 in the third. So pretty consistent. For the Grizzlies, it was 11 in the first, 10 in the second, 24 in the third. So figured some things out offensively, I think, huh?
Yeah, we made the necessary halftime adjustments.
I think so far.
And kind of all eyes here are on George. I hope she's okay. It looks like
a tough hit. It looked like.
I know a lot of people are watching this from Salem. I mean, I don't think she's. I mean, it looks like it's her wrist or something. Yeah. And the only reason why I'm saying that, I don't want to speculate, but it doesn't look like she's like it's her head or anything like that.
Popped back up here.
Yeah, she popped up, but she's
definitely her wrist.
Yeah, she's clearly hanging on to that left wrist, and that's already taped a little bit.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's a pre-existing injury.
Right, but the good thing is, I mean, at least no head injury or anything like that.
Yep.
So Penny Annis and Maggie Sasso came off the court, and Meredith Winterburn and Ava Vaughn came back in. So we have 4 of the 5 starters for the Grizzlies back out there. Abigail Estano, being the only non-starter, is still on the court. Nunez took her first shot in just off the back rim. Nunez will take her second shot and put that up again off the rim. Henschel came down with the rebound to Getz. Getz out to Nunez. Nunez over to Reagan. Back to Getz. And Getz kicks it out to Nunez. Out to Reagan. Reagan again looking around. Over to Henschel into Masto Ella. And they're calling Ava Vaughn for a foul. Vaughn's kind of putting up her arms in disgust.
Yeah,
I have no idea
what.
what.
This is the replay here, but the girl trips over her own feet. So her left foot hits her right foot, and she trips, and the foul goes on Ava.
You could clearly see Vaughn just had her arms up and basically did nothing, had made no contact with anything. So Ella Masto hit the first shot. She'll now take her second. And just out. Henschel comes down with the rebound here.
So again, Salem really working the offensive rebounds. That's back-to-back possessions. They've had more than one shot.
Yep. Reagan now with the ball. Reagan underneath. She takes a long 2 off the rim. Winterburn comes down with the rebound. And now she slows it down, which is good.
I'd like to see the Grizzlies work it. And
Winterburn's going to go in. She throws it out to Meredith. Meredith takes a long 2. went wide over to Getz. Getz comes down on Meredith Winterburn. Throws it out to Nunez to Henchy. Astano on her. Over to Reagan. Back out to Getz. Getz tries to work it in. Tries to get it over. Tipped by Ruggiero, but it went to Henchy. Henchy to Mostow. Mostow sunk that one in from the line. Ruggiero out to Ava Winterburn. Nunez reaching for her, but that just went over the rim.
Yeah, Salem putting the pressure on. They got what they want. You know, Goffstown.
Oh, Getz drove in and right into Ruggiero. I don't know why that was an offensive foul.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Getz basically slammed into Ruggiero.
Again, the mystery whistles, right?
Clearly, Ruggiero established her position.
Yeah, but on that last possession, you know, Salem scored. They put the pressure on. Again, they need to disrupt the Grizzlies, because if we give the Grizzlies too much time, we know what's going to happen.
Yes, I mean, clearly the Blue Devils, we said this all along, they came in with a plan, and they stuck to it pretty good. Nunez hits a nice layup there, 50-26. Looks like Dodge is going to work her way back in for the Grizzlies. Ava Winterburn here. Kicks it out to Abigail Astano. Over to Ava Winterburn. It takes a long three. That went off the backboard to Nunez. Nunez comes down into Mostow. Underneath, Ella throws it up. Abigail Astano. She called Abigail for somehow. Yeah, I don't know. I hate to keep getting on the officials because this is a couple games in a row, but
you know, I guess the frustration for me is you're down to you know, the state finals here, and this has not been a very good officiated game.
Yeah, and you got to see at least consistency. And you know, I'm the first to admit we're a bit of homers here, but
well, I'm watching girls on both teams look like I'm confused. That
right,
was a foul or that's not a foul. So yeah, regardless of if you wear blue or white tonight, I think the calls have been really inconsistent.
Yeah, and that's really the key. And really, all you want when you come into this game is you want the officiating to be consistent. It'll go both ways.
Yeah.
The players on the court have to know what's going to be called and what isn't, what's allowed, what isn't. And you're right, there is confusion both ways.
Yeah, and they
see it in Coach Oliver and Coach Largy.
They established in the beginning of the game, the very first quarter, it was like every time down the floor there was a foul, and we were in bonus early on. And then the second half, it's been kind of loosey-goosey, and some things called, not called. So, yeah, you hope for some consistency once you get to these playoffs.
So Dodge is in for the Grizzlies. I think this is her first action in a while.
Yeah, she's been out.
Yeah, she got hurt out in Dover, I believe, playing on JV. She was going for a rebound and kind of crashed to the court and hit her head, and she was kind of laid up for a little while.
Yeah.
So it's good to see
good
her
to see
back
her
in.
back out there, yeah.
So Mostow hit her second shot, and it's 50-27. Meredith Winterburn works it down to Ruggiero underneath.
Great spin
around
move.
Nunez, but this ball is intercepted by Burns. Burns now with the Salem Blue Devils works it down past Ava Winterburn. Kicks it out to Nunez. Dodge on her. Nunez over to Mostow. Mostow with the ball to Getz. And Getz tries to go in. Kicks
Should
it
have
out
been a
to
charge.
Nunez.
Yeah, you got a call here. Yeah.
So Getz charged in on Ruggiero.
Ruggiero was set up for, here's the replay here. She was set up for a while, and she just barreled her over.
That's our Ruggiero.
Yeah.
She'll give him or take him.
She's got to be close to leading the state in charges taken.
Ava Winterburn with some good behind the back dribbles.
The fans love it.
Yes, they are. They're rooting on their superstar. Ruggiero now with the ball. Goes up underneath, and she draws a foul on Nunez. So she'll have a chance to make this a three-point play. And she'll go to the line. 52-27 Grizzlies. Maggie Sasso is going to work her way back into the game.
She's coming for the shooter, it looks like.
Yep. So Ruggiero will take her shot first. Get a chance to expand the lead for the Grizzlies.
She hits it.
And Peyton Duff's worked her way in the game. So Ruggiero and Ava Winterburn will come off. Again, you got to start looking towards Friday night now. With
That's right.
3.5 minutes left to go in this game. Comfortable lead for the Grizzlies. Nunez works it down to Reagan. Reagan, I don't know what he's calling now.
Peyton
Is this on
with a
Duff?
hold, yeah.
Peyton Duff. So this will put Reagan on the line for the Blue Devils. Well, the fouls are a little lopsided, 10-5.
Yeah.
To say the least. Again, you don't want to harp on this, and the girls, of course, can't let this any frustration from this, so just move it on. Reagan sink that free throw. 53-28. Sasso with the ball over to Duff. Ooh, Duff was wide open there for a second. Kicks it out to Vaughn.
This is where you'd like to see the Grizzlies work some clock, right?
Right. You just slow it down, pass it around. Maggie Sasso with the ball. Almost lost control there, but she maintains control. She got Nunez on her. Into Meredith Winterburn. Out to Vaughn in Vaughn's corner. Vaughn drives in. That was blocked by Burns. Nunez with the ball. Kicks it out to Reagan. Dodge goes in, and that's a foul for sure.
Dodge gets the foul.
I love watching Dodge after that. She always looks like, I didn't do anything.
That was a legitimate foul for sure.
Yeah. Sure was. Reagan takes the first one and just off the rim. So Reagan will take her second shot here. And Reagan put that one in. Meredith Winterburn over to Maggie Sasso. Maggie works her way down the court with Getz on her. Sasso looks around, tries to drive in, and she's taking the shot. She draws the foul on Getz. I think that's her third.
Third, yes.
Right? Yeah. Finally got that right. So Case is working her way back in for the Blue Devils. She'll probably take out Getz. So Maggie's going to take her first shot, and she hit that one cleanly, 54. Case does go in for Getz. So Maggie's going to line up here for the second shot. And that's just off the rim. Nunez comes down with the ball, but Dodge and Meredith Winterburn all over her.
Good hustle.
Meredith out to Dodge. Dodge over to Maggie Sasso. Sasso slows it down, looks around. She's got Case on her.
I really anticipated we were going to get a whistle out of that last exchange there.
I did too. I thought something. Duff with the ball over to Meredith Winterburn. Meredith got Burns on her. Over to Duff. Duff back to Meredith Winterburn. It takes a long three just off the rim. Vaughn comes down with the rebound, fighting with Ella Mostow, but it went out to Dodge. Dodge comes up underneath. That was a nice play.
Good move.
Yeah, it was a really good move. She kind of took that underneath and went right around Case and Nunez and put that up. So you got Mostow underneath with Vaughn on her. Meredith Winterburn hit it away. It went to Sasso.
Yeah.
Maggie Sasso is now with the ball.
Just at the 2-minute mark here.
Yep. Sasso out to Vaughn. Vaughn comes in, steps in, takes a two-pointer, just missed. Sasso to Winterburn. Meredith over to Duff. Out to Vaughn. Vaughn thought about it. Backs out. Vaughn again, looks around. Bouncer to Sasso underneath. Sasso takes a nice
little, got that in there.
Underhand hook. And that went in, 58-29, so the lead's 29 points. Ella Mostow out to Nunez. Nunez to Burns. Burns out to Reagan, who takes a three. She's just been snake bit this half. Vaughn to Sasso. And looks like the Grizzlies are going to take their time out with a minute 16 left.
Wholesale changes coming in here.
For both sides.
Yeah. We're at the minute 16 mark, so going to get some of these younger players in.
Yep.
Finish out the game strong.
Yeah, well, you know what? It wasn't an easy game, that's for sure. You would think being the 4 seeds, finishing 15-3, playing against a Blue Devil team that kind of struggled most of the year to score. You would think the Grizzlies would have an easier time coming into the playoffs, but they did make it harder for themselves in the first half.
They
and
did.
Even here in the second half, they opened up the scoring. But I still think there's quite a few things Coach Largy will find to work on with them.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and you got to have a quick turnaround practice tomorrow. You got to have a short memory. Put this one behind you. Well, game one's in the book, and you're off to the next one. And, like you said earlier, the competition gets tougher as you move forward.
That's right.
You want to be in that position, but you got to buckle up and get ready for that bigger competition.
What do you look at, Rob, as some of, we dwelled on a little bit on some of the negatives for the Grizzlies. What are you looking at as some of the positive signs that you saw tonight with the Grizzlies?
Absolutely, above all, I can tell you who my rose is tonight, Maggie Sasso.
Okay.
By far the best complete, I would say best overall game, the most complete game for Maggie all season. Offensively, she looked fabulous tonight. I think the pass that sticks out that Penny made on that give and go to Ava, I think a little bit of confidence that, hey, maybe we can feed Penny inside. She's a big body inside. Let's feed her, and if we cut, she's going to see us and she's going to dish it out. So, those little plays, I think getting the momentum, we talked about Vaughn's three-pointer, that momentum helped. But I think what the adjustment at halftime, what we thought it was going to be, actually turned out to be correct, is they figured a way out to move the offense. They weren't stagnant anymore. We were in control. Salem controlled the first 16 minutes of this game, no doubt about it.
Right.
Every end of the floor, offensively, defensively. And in the second half, the third quarter, like I said, we scored 24 points in the third quarter.
Right.
We got everything that we normally get. Threes, pounded inside.
The
fast break. So, yeah, I think that third quarter really changed everything.
It did, and that's the sort of things that we got to look at as the positives and moving into whoever our opponent's going to be on Friday night. But like you said, the big key is a quick turnaround here, and the Grizzlies have to be ready for that next opponent.
Yeah, and I think it's worth saying, I think that one of the struggles that Coach had early in the game is Caroline is that role player, that sixth person that comes in, the first one off the bench every game, without fail. The rotation was different tonight, and some of these younger kids had to step up immediately into the spotlight.
More minutes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So hats off to those who stepped up tonight because they did a really good job. But also prove that senior leadership that Caroline can provide you. They did miss that in the first half.
Yeah, so she better get her tail better and come back in here. So get a good night's sleep, Caroline. So we're going to need you Friday night. We don't need you home on the couch. We need you actually here. And as far as throwing it out, I mean, we know we got a lot of fans from Salem watching this, and might be a little bit of despair as kind of ending your season here. But the Blue Devils are. Salem's always had a tough team.
They have.
Ricky Oliver is the coach. He's a very smart coach. Very good at getting the respect of the girls and teaching them the fundamentals of the game. But looking at their roster, this is a very young team.
There's only one senior on that roster.
That's right. And that one senior isn't even in tonight.
Exactly.
So they got a young team made up of a lot of freshmen and sophomore players.
Yeah.
There's only one junior on the team too.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a team made up mainly of underclassmen.
That's right.
And they came out and played a terrific half of basketball in the first half. And they haven't shown any quit even here in the second half.
Exactly. I think if you're Coach Oliver, you say, look, we could be down 7 at Goffstown in the first round of the playoffs. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And like you said, a younger team, a lot of underclassmen, but a lot to be proud of and way to build a program, get this experience now, and they know next year they want to be in the driver's seat to be that higher seed to get that home playoff game.
Right. Yeah, I think you'll see a better season and a better team in the Blue Devils with the experience the girls are gaining tonight. Gemma Panarin with the ball, 2 Duff for the Grizzlies, and we're just killing out the last 5 or 6 seconds. That ball was taken away by
Sure,
Case.
let's get one more whistle. Why not?
So the jump ball here.
2 seconds here.
2 seconds, and Gemma Panarin's going to inbound this. And Inbounds it to O'Brien. O'Brien now with the ball, and that'll kill the clock. So this game ends 58-30, 28-point victory for the Goffstown Grizzlies. So it took a while to get there, but the Grizzlies got there and put it together.
Yep.
So we are definitely going to, have a rose or two tonight. Maggie will be one of them.
Yes.
And we'll figure out who the other one will be.
I think it's also worth noting, we talked about the 24 points by the Grizzlies in the third quarter, but the defense, again, 7 points in the first, 7 in the second, 8 in the third, 8 in the fourth. Very consistent defensively. Championship teams can figure a way to hold you in check and not let you explode, and that's what they did. I think they knew at some point things were going to kick in offensively, and they did in that third quarter. If you hold the team to 7 points in the quarter, you're gonna hold on to win most games.
Right, and Grizzlies did a good job of putting it together, halftime adjustments. I'm interested to hear exactly what Coach Largy's thoughts were in the first half.
Yeah, stick
and
around. We'll
how
have
those
Coach
adjustments
in a little
work. So we will have 2 roses tonight. We'll have a coach's corner. So we'll be right back. We're going to sign out real quick, and we'll be back.
This tension is rising, so thick we just might choke. But if we keep moving, it ain't us that's gonna wind up broke. Some people might think we're crazy, but crazy is all we've known. It's probably that they just ain't ready. That's why they're going up in smoke. We're giving this all we've got. We're taking our only shot. On a tightrope, we're surviving. Yeah. Trying to make it to a new horizon. This moment feels so cutthroat. So cutthroat. So cutthroat. The stakes get so much higher when it's so late on the line. But we don't feel no fear. We ain't got no kryptonite. We're giving this all we've got. We're taking our only shot. No. On a tightrope, we're surviving. Yeah. Trying to make it to a new horizon. This moment feels so cutthroat. So cutthroat.
If you're gonna make it, you better remember that only the strongest survive. Give it your all and be willing to die for the reason that you are alive. Answer the call when you get it, or all you gon' be is to be left behind. It's see is believing, don't leave them a reason to leave. Leave it all on the line. Ain't about to buy what they selling me. No time for the lies that they telling me. Not waiting for handouts, I know where I'm going. I'm leading the charge like a felony. So let the haters keep spitting that venom and thinking it cuts like a knife. They fueling the fire, the passion's ignited. Can't stop me from shining, cause now is my time.
We're giving this all we've got. We're taking our only shot. No. On a tightrope, we're surviving.
And hello, Grizzly fans, and welcome back to the Grizzly Den. And any Salem fans that are still tuned in, they're going to see our Rose Between Two Thorns segments. And our rose, one of our roses for tonight's game is Miss Maggie Sassow.
Sasso. She did it.
I didn't get that. I said it perfect the whole game, Maggie Sasso. So
There it is.
Sasso's here with us.
Oh, that's good.
And it outstanding game, 17 points.
17, yeah.
Yep. So
I think your most complete game of the season.
Yeah.
You looked so confident going to the basket tonight. What's the change? What's the switch? We like it.
what's the magic sauce?
Yeah.
Honestly, I was just frustrated with myself. I think my whole season I didn't really get done what I wanted to get done for myself, and just changed my mentality. I think the biggest thing with me is my drive. Like, I have to decide I'm going to drive like right away or I'm not going to do it, and I kind of just decided that's what I wanted to do tonight.
Well, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Well, and glad you did, because basically going into this game, you'd think the Grizzlies would have an easier time.
Right.
This was a playoff game, and yes, you got to take everyone seriously, and anybody can win on any given night.
Yeah.
But I think we made it very difficult on ourselves, judging by the
Definitely.
first half.
Yeah.
But credit to the Blue Devils. They played their game, and we kind of played into it. So what was the halftime adjustment that was made to really, because the third quarter is what turned it around?
Yeah, we kind of just like refocused on our original game plan. I think we went into the game pushing the ball too much, which is a little weird for us, but we were forcing the ball, and in halftime, Largo was like, we got to just chill out. Like, we have this game. Like, we're good. We're a better team than them. And just to calm down, which isn't really our thing. Like, we push the ball all the time, and to just calm it down a little more than we had been doing.
Yeah, we made that same comment during the broadcast. Is we love the transition baskets. We love the fast break. But we felt like Salem was in total control.
Yeah, they were getting back.
Offensively, they also would run the clock for 10, 15, 20 seconds, pass the ball around, and all of a sudden we would come down on offense and just throw up the first shot we saw. So they had control, and I like that. Is this your fan club here?
Yes, he needs to leave.
He needs to leave. We can interview him next.
Right.
Give us all the tough questions.
He'll love that.
All right, so you got a short turnaround because you got to bounce back Friday night. We don't know the opponent yet. We got an idea who it might be, but what do you take from this game tonight? You're still an underclassman. You haven't played in a ton of playoff games, but now you got another one under your belt. What do you take into Friday night for you and for this team to build on?
I think it all starts with mentality with us. Like, I think we really got to want it, and when we want it, we're pretty much unstoppable. And I think we just need to stay in that same mindset, build off of this 30-point win, and just keep attacking.
Agreed.
Yeah, and you wanted to give a shout out. We have fans from all over the country.
Yeah, who's watching you tonight?
Who's watching you tonight? Beside all these other people.
Shout out Nana and Sal. Thanks for watching, guys.
And where are they watching from?
Georgia.
Georgia.
That's awesome.
That's another state. We got people from Texas. We got Jersey Jan, which is Caroline Foreman's grandma.
Jersey Jan.
Jersey. We call her Jersey Jan. So she's watching. We know we got people down in Florida. We know we got people in Texas. So that's good. So we're expanding out.
Yeah.
And Maggie, it was basically a hell of a game. And when you take control of the game, it does help the Grizz. I mean, we seem to play a different game. So how do you feel that you want to approach Friday yourself with your own game plan? What is it you're going to keep in mind to do?
I'm definitely going to kind of just file this game away and realize that when I really want it, I want it, and I can get to the hoop really whenever I want to, and just I don't know, keep that in mind, I guess. Just like keep attacking the hoop, because that's something I've been good at kind of like my whole career, and just keep doing it.
The confidence, I like this side of it because I think that it's so important for the offense to have Maggie go to the basket. You have a great move underneath. You're pivoting. You're going up. You're getting fouled. You're making your free throws. It's important for this team. So while it seems selfish to say I need to do more offensively, it really helps the whole team out. So keep it up. Keep it up. We like it. We like it.
Keep it going.
Yes.
All right. This is our first rose, Maggie Sasso.
Nana's going to call you after this.
I know. Well, I don't blame her. We'll be back with our second rose in just a minute. And here we are, Grizzly fans, and we're back here live from the Grizzly Den with one of our other roses of the game, Miss Ava Winterburn. And Ava, after an all-star season, and we obviously, our first goal to attain a playoff spot. We get in as the 4th seed. We have a game against Salem. First half, surprisingly difficult.
Yeah.
I was just talking to Coach Oliver, and he said, the first half we were playing kind of what we wanted to. It looked like the Grizzlies were playing into us, and he goes, then Ava Winterburn woke up, and she put a stop to the whole thing. So, how did you approach this game, and how did you change from the first half to the second half? What was going on mentally with you?
After the first half, Livy told me I had 3 rebounds, so that was a problem. So I changed that, and I just started, like, I wanted to attack the basket more because my shots weren't falling. I mean, I got 1 to go, but they weren't really falling outside, so almost all of my points came from layups. So that's really where my mind was at, and, you know, a 7-point lead going into the half versus Salem is just not enough. It's not good, so.
Yeah, we really thought, there was a chance either team could come out in that third quarter, and who was going to make the best adjustment. I had confidence that the Grizzlies would, right the ship and move forward, and we did. We put 24 points in the third quarter.
Ooh.
You had 13 of them. And at the end of the game, you and Maggie score 32, Salem scores 30. So that's a good night for the two of you.
Yeah.
But talk a little bit. We felt like, Salem's a young team. They had nothing to lose tonight. They were out there going for loose balls, offensive rebounds. There were times where they got 3 and 4 shots. So for you to, to hear you say, well, Livy told I only had 3 rebounds, it kind of turned the corner for you guys. So, I asked Maggie the same thing. I'm going to ask you. Quick turnaround, got to play Friday night. We don't know who yet. We got a good idea. But what do you take from tonight's game and build on that for playoff game number 2?
We can't go in flat, and we can't go in with the mentality of we already beat them, so we'll beat them again.
True.
That proved in the first quarter. Well, we have 9 points, 11 points. Yeah. We just weren't in it mentally, and we had to go in with the mindset of it's 0-0, brand new team, anything can happen.
Absolutely.
Right, and I think it's important to get off, make sure we're starting on time and really get off to a quick start, because we just played Pinkerton, and it was not an easy game by any stretch. I mean, we really didn't take over until late in that game also, and Pinkerton has a lot more weapons and a higher shooting percentage than here. In the second half, watching you take control, hit those threes, those nice arcs and stuff like that. I know that you've been working on your shot basically your whole career. How do you feel about where your shot is, and how do you feel that you can? Is there ways to make it better, and what are you looking to do to try to improve on that?
Throughout my career, I was originally a back to the basket player, and now I've developed with the 3. And I feel like there's some games where I hit 5, and there's some where I don't.
Right.
So I just want to be more consistent. So that's definitely what I want to improve on. And just taking the right threes. I feel like sometimes today I definitely took the wrong 3. So I just better shot selection with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things we talked about it, I guess, at the end of the game. Some of the key points of this game. We thought Ava Vaughn's 3-pointer from the
side.
That
was awesome.
It was a huge momentum builder.
Yeah.
Not only for the team, the fans got into it. There was also another time where we're not sure how Penny ends up with the ball, but it's a give and go play. It's a give and go play, and you cut to the basket, and we're thinking the ball got fumbled. Somehow she finds you cutting to the basket. So, I think it's important to see those other players contribute offensively. It's not always about what I score or what I do personally, but to make that pass to you on the cut, and first of all for you to have that mindset to pass it to her and cut to the basket. So any other turning points you can think of during the game? Because the first half it was tight. It was a close game.
Yeah, I think the run-out layup, well, not a run-out, it was a buzzer beater layup at the end of the third quarter. That definitely
Coach called a timeout.
Sealed the deal. I think for us.
It was a great screen. I don't know who set the screen for you.
Penny.
Penny set the screen and you rolled.
Yep.
Yeah, it was 3.5 seconds, and he drew that play up. So I would agree. That's a good play as well.
It was great. It was a great game all around. So hopefully, good luck on Friday night. Looks like we're going to be playing. We're home.
Yep, definitely.
We earned it by having a good season. So we got to just keep our act together and keep this going.
Yep.
So again, this is Ava Winterburn, superstar. Rob Foreman, Bob Bartolucci will be back for Coach's Corner in just a moment.
Thank you, guys.
Good job.
Okay, we're live back from the Grizzly Den, and we're here with Coach Largy. We were commenting during the game, and especially in the first half, at the beginning of the game. Respect to everybody who gets to the playoffs. This is tough.
Yeah.
You got to get to the playoffs. I know on any given night, any team can win. All the girls throughout the league are capable of putting together a good game and winning. Obviously, we were clearly a favorite for a reason. I think we made this harder on ourselves than we needed to in that first half.
Oh, yeah, sure. Playoff emotions, I think you try to say this is a normal game, and you try to make it as normal of a day as you can, but it's vacation week, and, so it's just disruptive to the schedule, so you don't know exactly what you're going to get out. And we had the energy, but I said we were playing like we were all hopped up on Mountain Dew. We were just like we were never really getting anything settled in the first half, and we were trying to push and get the tempo that we wanted. So I can't fault our players for, hey, this is what you want. You want us to push the ball. And so that's kind of hard, that balance of, we want to push, but we also want to take care of the ball. We want to get the most out of our possessions and make sure we're not giving the ball back as soon as we get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Maggie, we had her on for a reason. She had 17 tonight. I mean, got to the basket, in control, offensively looked great, took control. There were times where we needed, a guard to take control of the offense, and there she was.
Yep.
A big moment for her, I think, in a defining moment and a defining game. So hats off to her. We talked about the Salem team, and they were tough. They had a game plan in the first half.
Yep.
They knew what they wanted, and I think a lot of teams at this point know what the Grizzlies have, and they're going to game plan against it. But my hat's off to you guys, because as I look at the scorebook, you gave up 7 points in the first, 7 in the second, 8 and 8. That's pretty darn consistent.
Yeah.
That means you're locking down defensively when you have to. To only give up 7 points in a quarter, that's pretty good basketball. So talk a little bit about your approach, especially with that team, because they had a couple weapons that could shoot the three, they could get inside when they needed to, but what was your focus defensively to hold them to 30 points?
Yeah, they can really shoot the ball. I mean, and that's a hallmark of a Coach Oliver team where they are willing shooters, and they're pretty much 4 or 5 kids on the floor at all times that can and will and have the green light to shoot the basketball. And if you let them get rolling, they will start knocking them down. And so, our kind of keys was, we're going to switch defensively, but we are going to be out on shooters, and we're going to make sure that they feel us defensively anytime they're we want to kind of make a team like that's a good shooting team do what's less comfortable, which is attacking the basket and going to the rim. And so if we feel like if we play our rules defensively, and we trust that the help is going to be there when we're aggressive, then we can still limit teams when they're taking the ball to the rim.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, Coach, I mean, we have a very short turnaround here. And it's school vacation week, so it makes it a little harder, but we're going to be having the game Friday. Thank God, because of the season you guys put together, you earned it as a home game.
Yeah.
So what is it that we're doing, or you're going to be doing, to game plan for that next game, which looks like it might be Pinkerton, or we're believing it's Pinkerton. So how are we going to make some adjustments, and what are we looking to do against Pinkerton on Friday night?
Yeah, I mean, this is it feels like a kind of a normal week in terms of like our regular season routine, other than the fact that we're not in school this week. So, like usually, I mean, we're going to approach it the same way we would like a regular season week, where Tuesday we are, game day. Wednesday we're looking at what did we do. We don't even really know until we find out tonight who we're going to be playing, right? And so we're going to find out who we play. We're going to really kind of take tomorrow to look at us on film, diagnose what we did well, what we didn't do well, be a little self-critical, try to fix those things. And then really Thursday becomes more of a kind of prep, because we've played now, whether it's Spalding or Pinkerton, we kind of know who we're going to see. We know what the matchups are. We know, there might be a few wrinkles that we change or we adjust, but for the most part, we know who we're going to play. We're going to game prep for that. We're going to tweak a few things, but I think for the most part, it's about playing our game the right way.
Agreed. I don't know if word got back to you on the bench, but you had an additional coach tonight, Coach Caroline from home.
Right. Oh, yeah.
She texted in Coach Cav.
Oh, yeah, we read that
Yes.
at halftime.
She was spot on.
100%.
Well, she gets it, honestly. But she was spot on. Stop making the tough pass, make the easy pass. But my question is more about, I felt like her as that sixth player off the bench, you guys have a routine and you have a rotation for a reason. And to not have her tonight as your first substitution to senior leadership, is a wrinkle that you didn't plan for.
We felt it early, too.
Yeah, I felt like that we were out of sync a little bit. Like she can bring some things to you from the rebounding side to get an open shot from the outside that you kind of just looked a little off. We figured it out in the second half, but we were just a little off.
Well, we're so used to, with this team, there's so much continuity in our rotations. And then we know usually who's substituting for who and then what our matchups are going to be after that. And then tonight, I feel so bad for Caroline.
She's listening, by the way. So
yeah, I
nice.
know, of course. I mean, my heart goes out to her because she's somebody that is so important to what we do on the court, on the bench, texting in, coaching advice and pointers, and 100% right on. But she said something that was really important to us that I read to our team right before the game, because I said, when she told me that she wasn't going to be able to make it, I was like, oh, man, like I what can I do? Like, I feel so bad. And she's like, well, you can go out and get a win so I can play basketball again this year. And so, like, I read that, and I couldn't read it in the locker room before. I had Ava Winterburn read it because, all of our seniors, are so important to what we do. So to not have that was tough. But, I mean, I know she was super engaged, and she gave us a boost. And
Good.
In the locker room, we said we were doing it for her tonight.
Yeah, well, sometimes, we talk about everybody contributing in some fashion. Whether you're at home on the couch, and hopefully she's taking her medication, but or the kids that got in tonight that had to step right up. Yeah. Gemma's in the game, and Morgan back from action after a few weeks out, and Penny had a really solid game. So those younger players stepped right in. So
and in a playoff run, somebody's got to step up. Absolutely. It's always going to have to be somebody to step up, and we got that tonight from some really key. And it's great to see the kids coming in off the bench that have such an impact and contribution. We really have confidence in everyone that we have on this team that they're going to contribute. And I've never seen a team so committed and engaged to each other. And
you can see it for sure.
And I mean, even to have that from somebody that, that really is our sixth starter, but doesn't necessarily get the credit that she deserves. Man, every underclassman on the team has to look at that and respect that and say, wow, right? I mean,
absolutely.
That's leadership.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it was great. Again, the adjustments we made at halftime and really giving the Blue Devils credit. I mean, very young team, all freshmen and sophomores, but I think they came in with a game plan in the first half. We adjusted well in the second. Obviously, your stars were stars, and that was important. So I'm going to wish you great luck on Friday night. Obviously, we'll be here. We'll be doing this.
Thanks, Rob.
So
Thanks,
this
Bob.
is Coach Largy, Rob Foreman, Bob Bartolucci signing out.
Good
We'll
night,
be back
Thanks,
Friday
guys.
night.
Yep.
See you Friday.
Bye.